everybody. Welcome to our series on healthy eating and healthy cooking. So we have our Stanford registered dietitians to really kind of help highlight the recipes that they like to cook in their own homes. So this is for our diabetes wellness group. And so today we're very lucky to have Jessica Shipley, who is a registered dietitian and diabetes educator that's been working with Stanford Healthcare for 9 years. She works primarily in primary care in Santa Clara, and she really supports her patients in their health goals while controlling diabetes. She teaches our diabetes classes, so if you ever join any of those, you'll get to see Jessica. And she also loves to cook and also really share that cooking passion with her patients and also her immediate family as well. So today we're very lucky to have her sharing with us some breakfast meal prep ideas, so we can maybe get that started and going for Friday breakfast if we want to think about that. And so my name also is Leah Groppo, and I'm going to just be helping field the questions. So if you have any questions in the moment, feel free to type them in the chat box or ask a question, and I can relay that to Jessica and we can answer them in real time. So we're so happy to have you here tonight. And we look forward to seeing all the delicious things that Jessica's cooking.
Great. Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thanks so much for being here today. Leah, thanks for having me, and thanks for that really nice introduction. So as she mentioned today, the theme is all about meal prep breakfast ideas. I know a lot of us are busy, maybe we have families, and breakfast is sometimes an afterthought, or just kind of grabbing a bar, grabbing something as you're running out the door, maybe even just skipping breakfast altogether. So I'm a big fan of prepping breakfast, so everything I'm going to share with you today can all be made ahead and made in bulk and can be things that you can use throughout your week. They're family friendly, and importantly, as we're all watching our blood sugar management, they're carb controlled. Some I'm going to show you are low carb and can be even further catered to being even lower carb if you like. And I'm going to give you some of those modification ideas as we start to walk through. So why don't we just jump right in. The first recipe that we're going to do are breakfast egg muffins with some sautéed veggies and cheese. And what I have going so far on the stove, I have already started sautéing. This is a really lean ground turkey sausage, which is much lower in saturated fat compared to some of the other ones. You can add in pork sausage. I mean, you can add in any of the sausage that you like or any other kind of meat, or you can totally leave it out. But the reason why I'm preparing it is because if we're going to be making 12 different egg muffins here in our pan, we can actually make a variety of different kinds that all cater towards maybe your different tastes or even your family tastes. So my family, I have 2 little girls. There's myself and my husband. And, some people like more of a veggie heavy one. Some people like to have more of a meat based one. And so I'm going to do kind of a variety of those to show you that today. I just added into this pan, I had some chopped up spinach. I like to just grab a handful of spinach with whatever I can, chop it up. I threw it in the pan, and it's going to start to wilt. And we'll be able to add this into our breakfast muffins. I'm going to let that saute for just a few minutes to soften. So in order to make egg muffins, a couple of things that you need to make sure you have is 1, a muffin pan. You could either use a muffin pan. A variation of this dish is you could either just use an 8x8 Pyrex or even a 9x9, depending on how thick you want your muffins. So that's the versatility of that dish. I like the muffin pans because you can mix and match the different flavors in the muffin pan. One of the keys to using the muffin pan is you want to make sure you oil your pan. I used avocado oil on this pan. It just prevents the eggs from sticking. Otherwise, it's a really hard pan to clean. Another idea, if you don't have a muffin pan or you just really don't feel like scrubbing a dish if it sticks, are to use, let me grab over here. There's a lot of these silicone pan dishes out there too, which work really well if you're going to meal prep, or if you kind of want to do a big bulk of them, you can do mix and match or just use one of these. These pop right out when you're done cooking with them. Okay, so what I have here, I pre-cracked the eggs in this measuring cup here. This is a measuring cup. I actually cracked I put 10 eggs into this measuring cup. And I really like to use a liquid measuring cup of this because then you can just directly pour it right into the cups, and it's so easy, it doesn't make a mess. And so we scrambled all those together in this liquid measuring cup. So it's 10 eggs in here. I also added an equivalent to about 3 to 4 egg whites in here. And what we find is when you add a little bit more egg white to this, it makes your egg muffins a little bit fluffier when you actually eat them. So I really like that. If you don't have the egg whites, you can just use the full eggs. I just want to share with you. I just buy egg whites in the carton. It's really easy. Then you don't feel like you're wasting the yolk. And I buy these at Costco and just freeze it. And when I need one, I just pull it out and use it, which is really great to have on hand. And we're going to use the egg whites in another recipe later. It's a great way to put protein up in the muffins you're going to see shortly that we're going to be making. I'm going to give this a stir. This is our spinach and the turkey here. The spinach is starting to wilt. Turkey sausage is, or the lean turkey sausage is cooked through. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Okay. Now for our assembly. Part of meal prepping is to make sure you have all your ingredients that you want to use and kind of prep them ahead of time and then have everything here ready to go. What I've prepped in advance, I have some broccoli. This was just leftover broccoli that we had from a dinner. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use these in the egg muffins. Chopped it up. It's on here. It's already been steamed. So I don't have to worry about cooking that or anything. These are some mushrooms that have been sauteed, also a leftover. So I have this here. Chopped bell peppers and some shredded cheese. I have mixed sharp cheddar and then an English cheddar right here that we'll use. So we just have our ingredients, our cooked sausage, all our prepped vegetables here. And now the fun part, now we get to assemble. I like really heavy vegetable egg muffins. I like to load these up with broccoli. It just makes it really filling. And sometimes it's hard to get vegetables in at breakfast, other than if you're going to do something like an egg scramble. So I think it works really well in a dish like this. I'm going to put some few mushrooms in each of these. And then I have some family members that are just not fans of mushrooms. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill some other ones with more of the mixed bell peppers. I'll put those right in here. This is just a chopped red pepper and a chopped yellow pepper. Okay, and then next we're going to go ahead and put the cheese in. I'm going to top some of these with cheese. Oh, I forgot the sausage. That was the other one. I almost forgot the topping here. I'm going to put the sausage in with these pepper ones. So you can see I have all different flavors going on here. Just put a scoop. Okay, so I have about half veggie, half meat and peppers. And I have not added any salt or any pepper to this because I'm going to be using cheese. And cheese is already salty, and so that's going to also add some of that salt flavor if you want that. You can definitely omit the cheese. You could also use other cheeses that you have in your fridge. Maybe you like feta cheese or goat cheese. So any cheese you can put in your mascarpone, ricotta. It all tastes really great with this. My husband loves spicy, so I'm going to go ahead and put some Tabasco in a couple of these just to make some of them a few spicy. I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of them with cheese. So I'll put some cheddar. I'll put a mix of different ones in here. I'll mix the two cheeses. Some I can leave without cheese.
Jessica, those look amazing. I love that you have all the different options too in one muffin tin.
Yeah, so it's maybe, I think in total, it's about, maybe just a few, like maybe a teaspoon of shredded cheese. The thing is with this recipe, what I like is you don't really have to measure anything. Sometimes you look at recipes, you feel like you have to have all these tools and things to measure. I'm a big fan of just using what you have in your kitchen and just making do with what you can. So you could, you're not going to do anything wrong by putting little or more ingredients in any of these. All right, the next part is super easy, and this is what I said for this. To whisk up your eggs into the liquid measuring cup. It's going to make this part so much easier. We have all our ingredients in here, and now we're just going to fill each of these little muffin tins with some of the egg. And it ends up being a little bit less than maybe 1 egg per tin. Here's our spicy ones. I always like to remember where I put the spicy ones, so when they're done, I don't mix them up with the other ones because my kids will be really upset at me if I give them a spicy one on accident.
Jessica, I love that you have so many different variety in there. You're making it a head, but it's not the same thing. So it looks amazing.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is, you know, sometimes we want a little bit of different flavor or different things throughout our work week, and feeling like you're eating the same thing all the time can get a little bit boring. All right, so you can see I have these all filled. They're ready to go. I'm gonna pop this in the oven. The oven's already preheated at 350. And these just have to cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. So we'll take a quick peek on them in just a few minutes. I'm just gonna stick that in here and we'll look at that. For those of you who are interested in some of the nutrition of those egg muffins, it's one of the really low carb options that I'm making tonight. And those end up being about 85 calories for one egg muffin, 1 gram of carb, and 9 grams of protein. And, you know, I would say, you know, if you're going to eat that as a meal, you might end up eating 2. So it's still less than 200 calories, 2 grams of carbs, and 18 grams of protein, which is a great way to start your day. So you really want to focus on getting that protein in early, and pairing. If you are going to eat carbs, you want to pair our carbs with our proteins throughout the day. And that's going to bring us into our next meal, which I'm going to share with you, which is another version of muffins. So let me move this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to bring our next recipe over to share with you. I have a lot of ingredients I'm going to be bringing over. And I have Melanie who wants to come and help. Do you want to come and help me? Okay, you want to come say hi to everyone? Come and help. You're free to come and help. You want to be my mixer? Awesome. Okay, here, let me get this stool for you. This is Melanie. She loves to help me cook in the kitchen. And one of the recipes that we're going to be making are banana almond muffins. And these are so good. Melanie actually helped me pre-prep this recipe in our bowl here. What did we put in that bowl? Bananas, right? So we have I have 2 really ripe bananas that I use, and we mashed them up. They're in this bowl. This recipe is not going to have any added sugar at all. It's simply using really ripe bananas to help sweeten the muffin, and it's going to add a lot of flavor without needing to add any sugar to it. And I love this. And so does Melanie. It's one of her favorite things that we make together. Okay, I'm bringing over all of our ingredients that we're going to be using for these muffins. It's also a 1 bowl dish, which I like because I want to minimize dishes for our meal prep. I'm going to move this over to you. Okay, so we have 2 really ripe mashed up bananas. We're going to add in one of our main ingredients in these muffins, which helps to really bump the protein up, adds moisture to the muffins, and keeps it lower in carb, is to use something like an almond flour. And almond flour works really well for baking and muffins, and it's basically my main kind of flour that I end up using in these muffins. Another reason why I like this almond flour is almond flour has a lot of healthy fat in it. When you cook with fats, it really helps to carry flavor. And so when we add, I'm gonna just, again, this is a recipe. I'm not super strict on measuring. I just get about a cup. So we're gonna put a cup of almond flour in there. Great. Let's go ahead and mix that up. You wanna mix that? So we're gonna mix the almond flour in. The next thing that is one of the main ingredients in this is oats. Whole oats, high in fiber. Also is going to help to make these muffins really filling. And I add about 3/4 cups of oats into these muffins. So I just, with my oatmeal, I just keep a 1/4 cup measuring cup right in the container, because I just grab that and measure it out every time I use the oats, which I use all the time for meal prep. And we're going to use this again later in a recipe after this one. So I'm going to stick this right over here. And then to give these muffins a little bit of extra flavor and also to make them feel like they're a muffin is I'm going to add 100% whole wheat flour. And this is different than regular white flour because it still has the bran included in that grain. So that's why we want, that's how it's going to keep the fiber in this muffin. All right, again, for more flavor, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Want to smell it? Does it smell good? I love vanilla.
Nana said vanilla doesn't taste good.
It doesn't taste good when you just eat it or drink it, but when you cook with it, it gives food a lot of flavor. I have cinnamon, generally about like a teaspoon of cinnamon in these muffins. You could use pumpkin spice flavoring, you can use almond extract, whatever you have at home or what flavors you like in terms of spices, cloves, nutmeg, you can put any of that in here. It makes it taste really good. So generally about a teaspoon goes in there. I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And I have about a 1/2 cup of unsweetened vanilla almond milk. This is my main liquid for this muffin. I really like unsweetened vanilla almond milk because it has a little bit of that sweetness, but there's no added sugar and it's still a low carb option. You like this? Do you want to dump that in? Thank you. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to do, because we're getting the protein in these muffins from the almond flour, I'm also going to bump up the protein. And instead of using whole eggs, we really don't need the egg yolk in this recipe because we're getting a lot of the fat from the almond flour. So a way to bump up the protein in this recipe, I use about a 1/2 cup of egg whites. Again, this is the egg whites that I used in our egg muffin. So here, the same ingredient again, I'm using in another thing. I like to use ingredients that I can use in multiple things. Go ahead and dump that in there. Thank you. All right, give that
Oh, Jessica, someone had a quick question and asked how much wheat flour did you add again? Whole wheat flour.
So it was 1 cup of almond flour, 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour, and 3/4 cup of whole oats. I'm gonna give that a really little quick mix. Another thing that I do to vary up these muffins is if I have shredded zucchini, I might add some shredded zucchini into this. Sometimes I put shredded carrots in it. Again, so versatile, you can add a lot of different things to it. But this is our base. We haven't added any sugar to it. All sweetened from those really ripe bananas. All right, so the last thing we're gonna add to this, because Melanie loves chocolate chips on her muffins, right? These are mini chocolate chips. It's only about 2 tablespoons of mini chocolate chips. You don't have to use them. You can use chopped up apples or raisins or nothing at all. You can add nuts, like chopped walnuts to this. But since these are for the kiddo snack, we're prepping it, that we're gonna add a few of those chocolate chips to it and mix that all together. And still, all in all, when we do this recipe, 2 of the little mini muffins end up being about 150 calories. They're 18 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fiber, and 6 grams of protein, which is a really nice balance. For those of you really watching your carbs and you're sticking to those meals somewhere, 30 grams of carbs or less, these muffins still fit in that, even though there's things like bananas in it. There's a little bit of chocolate chips in it. And this is a way to have some of those foods as a really healthy balance. All right, now we're going to, I like to use mini muffins. So I use the 12 muffins for those egg muffins, a little bit bigger. And then for these, I use the mini muffin pans. There's 24 on here. So we're gonna go ahead and get a spoon. Excuse me, Melanie. I'm just gonna go ahead and spoon all of these in. You just put about a scoop in. I'm gonna go ahead and do this so we can do it.
I like how this is so kid-friendly, Jessica.
Yeah, Melanie usually Melanie is the one who scoops all of these for me, which is such a big help. But so we can get to our next recipe, I'm gonna go ahead and scoop all of these because I'm wanting to share. My goal was to try to have all of this food cooked and ready in real time.
Mommy, you're forgetting.
Oh yeah, thank you. I want to have it done in real time so you can see what it looks like right when it comes out of the oven. Another thing why I really like both the egg muffins that we just did, as well as these banana almond chocolate chip muffins, is that you could meal prep them, number one, that's why I love it. But number two is if you don't eat all of it, because sometimes if it's just, you know, maybe you at home or you and someone else, you know, maybe you're not going to eat all this stuff. And that's fine too. All of these things here, they can be frozen. You can pop them into a container or into a Ziploc bag and then just freeze them and pull them out of the freezer as you need them. Maybe you get sick of eating them after 2 days and you don't want to have all this stuff. Just freeze it and get it out of the freezer when you're ready to eat it. All right, so I didn't quite get all my muffins here full. Usually I get that just right. Maybe I fill it a little bit too much. That's okay. Scrape all the last bit out. I'm going to even it out and fill it. Take some of these right when I overfill them. So this is cooking at home. Sometimes your hands are going to get a little bit messy. That's okay. You just wash them. We washed our hands before we started cooking. Okay. Wash my hands real quick. And I already have the oven cooked preheated at 350. I'm going to pop these same banana almond mini chocolate chip muffins into the same oven and let it cook. Our eggs are looking good. Egg muffins are not quite done yet. Okay, so I'm gonna I have my 1/4 cup. I'm gonna put a 1/2 cup of whole oats. I have 3 containers here that I'm gonna meal prep of our overnight oats with chia. And as you remember, a 1/2 cup of oats is 15 grams of carbs for those of you who are counting your carbs. So we're gonna put a 1/2 cup in each of these containers. Okay, done. Lid on. Next, what we're gonna do is,
Mommy,
so you can put it in the container. I like this. This is like kind of my secret ingredient for oatmeal, whether I'm cooking it fresh or if I'm doing it as overnight oats. These are chia seeds, and chia seeds are really versatile. I often will put them in the muffins as well as ground flaxseed in the muffins. You can put 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons of ground flax into muffins. I didn't do that today. I'm going to use the chia seeds and put the chia seeds right directly into these overnight oats, 1 tablespoon. And the function of these chia seeds in this overnight oats is they're really high in fiber. It's a great protein source, a great source of omega-3s. That's some of the nutritional benefits. And then for the texture benefits of the oatmeal, it makes it really creamy. So it gives your oatmeal kind of a nice texture, makes it taste really good too. So we're gonna put a tablespoon of chia seeds. I just do it directly from this huge bag here because if I try to dump it out, chia seeds are super messy. So I hope if anyone's ever working with chia seeds, you never spill them on the floor. It's like cleaning up little sprinkles. It should be a big mess. So I try to be really careful with them. Okay. We have our tablespoon. And then the next thing we're gonna do to keep it low in carb, but still to add that flavor, I'm gonna add, again, the same unsweetened vanilla almond milk that I used for our muffins. I'm gonna put in here. So we have the 1/2 cup of oats, 1 tablespoon of chia, and we're gonna do 2/3 cup of each of these right into the overnight oats. Yep, so Melanie, go ahead and do 1 of each of those. Thank you. All right, we're gonna do 2 more times. Okay, go ahead and dump that in. Okay, we're gonna do 1 more. Thank you. Now with this, you could add a little bit of vanilla if you wanted to, a little bit of that almond extract. I'm not going to do that here tonight, but what I will add is, that same cinnamon that went in that banana almond oats. I'm going to do just a little bit of cinnamon, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon in each of these servings of overnight oats. This is the base of our overnight oats that we just finished here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to mix that all together. Just give it a little stir. I'm going to take a look at our egg muffins. They're looking good, not quite done. Okay, let's stir that one. Let's stir that one. Awesome. Great. As you notice, I have not added any sugar, any syrup to this. The way that I like to sweeten things to keep the carbs under control is to sweeten things with fresh fruits. All right, so the overnight oats again can be catered to whatever you have at home and whatever your family or what you like. I have here just a variety of berries. Berries are really high in fiber, rich in antioxidants. If you're watching those carbs, 3/4 of a cup of berries is 15 grams of carbs. There's definitely room to add berries to these overnight oats here. I also have some chopped up walnuts, some slivered almonds, and some raisins. And I usually let the kids go ahead and decide what they want to put in their overnight oats. And then we have it for breakfast in the morning. Do you want to go ahead and assemble your bowl of overnight oats?
Yeah, I want this
That one? Okay. So you go ahead and put whatever you want in there. You can do some almonds. I like lots of strawberries. So I'm going to put strawberries, maybe some blueberries. Some walnuts. Another fruit that works really well if you don't have berries on hand or if you're not going to eat it right away, because sometimes berries just don't sit very well over a few days, are sliced apples. You can get a sliced apple and just thinly chop it or even grate it. And apples have a lot of sweetness, a really nice crunch, and those can sit well and sit in the overnight oats for a few days if you're not going to eat these right away with the berries in it. Great.
I use everything.
You put everything. Those are going to be really good. Okay. So we'll go ahead and just pop the lids on. Another thing with meal prep is to have some containers, right? You can't really meal prep if you don't have some containers to prep them in. These are just glass bowls. I ordered them online. They hold about 1.5 cups of stuff in them, and they're snap lids, which is really easy to open and close. They don't leak, and they're stackable. So here we go. We got 3 breakfasts.
This is not closed.
Oh, 3 breakfasts ready to go, and I'll put those right in the fridge. Okay. And usually within a couple hours, it'll be ready to go. So all that liquid that we put into the overnight oats will help to soak and absorb. We'll absorb it into the oats, and that's what softens them. So you don't actually have to cook these at all. You can eat it directly from the bowl if you want to eat it cold. You can also heat it in the microwave for about a minute if you like more of a warmer oatmeal. All right. I wanted to share with you the nutrition on the oatmeal. So one of these bowls of oatmeal that we just made, overnight oats with chia, is 350 calories. It's 40 grams of carbs with 10 grams of fiber. So if you're doing the net carbs, you can subtract the fiber from the total carbs there. So 10 grams of fiber, that's a lot. Our recommendation for fiber for the whole day is 25 to 38 grams per day. So the more fiber you can get, awesome, especially starting your day with a lot of fiber is great. And 10 grams of protein right in here. You can go. No. Okay, the next meal I wanted to show you, if you're not a fan of maybe oatmeal, or if you're thinking, well, I want something a little bit lower in carbs, I'm going to share with you another idea that you can try, again, using the same types of ingredients that we would have for overnight oats, or maybe you use them in your muffins. It's actually it's like a chia and flax Noatmeal. So no oatmeal, it's basically all chia and all flax seeds. So in here, we're going to put 2 chia seeds. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. Carefully so I don't spill them. And this is ground flaxseed, which works really well. I know I mentioned it earlier, but ground flaxseed works really well for adding to things. If you're gonna do the muffins, if you don't like to use eggs and things, you can use ground flaxseed as a substitute for a binder. So roughly about 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed with 3 tablespoons of liquid equates to about what you would use for 1 egg. So it works really well as an egg replacement in those kinds of dishes. It also is very rich in healthy fats, rich in fiber, rich in protein. So a nice way to find ways to incorporate it into your dishes is gonna be really healthy for you.
Mommy.
So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed into this. Thank you. And then we're gonna add in, or you can use the same spoon. 2 tablespoons chia seeds, 2 tablespoons ground flax, a half a cup of that same unsweetened vanilla almond milk. Go ahead and mix that in. So no oatmeal in here. And then so just without anything yet added to it, now we can add our same toppings that we had for our oatmeal. So if you're gonna do a meal prep, you can still use some of these toppings for this no oatmeal chia and flax dish. And I'm just gonna put the fruit and nuts right into it.
Mommy, can I put some?
Yeah, go ahead, you can put some raisins in it. And we're gonna let that sit overnight. If you heat this up, it's actually ready to go right away. All those chia seeds absorb the water. The chia seeds absorb about 10% of their weight in water, which helps to thicken this. You can see it's pretty watery right now, but as it sits, it's gonna thicken and it turns into more of a cream of wheat texture. So if you like that cream of wheat and you wanted to have, something like that, this would be a great option. So I made it a little sweeter with the fruit, but if you do prefer something more savory, you can add some of your salty favorites to the same thing. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is if you didn't like the oatmeal or you're maybe trying to even further watch your carbs, this dish right here ends up having, it's 250 calories, 23 grams of carbs, but 15 grams of these are coming from fiber. So it's a total of 8 net grams of carbs. Most of that carbs is coming from the 1/4 cup of fruit that I added to this. So if you wanted to take out the carbs more, you would just omit the fruit. 7 grams of protein and no added sugar. Put that in there for you. All right, next, I'm gonna check on our muffins and I smell them, they're smelling good and they're smelling like they're almost cooked. Excuse me, I'm gonna grab the things here, my mitts. Watch out, the oven's really hot, so I want you to watch out. Oh yeah, these look good. Okay, I'm gonna grab out first, I can show you our muffins. The muffins cook really quick because there's not really much in them that needs to cook. So these are done. Our egg muffins, I'm gonna pull the egg muffins in just a second so I can show everyone. Here are our banana almond flour mini chocolate chip muffins, 24 of them. 2 of them is a good serving size. I'm gonna let them cool for a while before I take them out of the pan. It's gonna help them set so that if I pull them out right now, they're probably gonna fall apart. So I like to let them sit in here for about 10 minutes and cool, and then they'll just pop out pretty easily, and then you could store them in your containers. And I'll just share with you what I like to do with them to make them a really tasty meal. We can prep 2 of those muffins right on our plate, and I put, a little teaspoon of almond butter, and it tastes really good just taking a bite of that and dipping it in the almond butter. Really tasty breakfast, really filling snack, carb controlled, high protein, high fiber, no added sugar. Great way to start your day or to add as a between meal snack. All right, I'm gonna grab out, because our egg muffins look like they're done. Are you okay? You just felt this little, that was silly. Watch out.
That looks good.
These look super good. Look at those. I love
I'm okay.
okay, you can't touch the oven? It's too high, don't touch it. Okay. Here's our egg muffins. When you cook them, so they puff up and they get really puffy and they look really cool when they come out. We're gonna let them cool down and they'll settle. They probably won't end up staying this big, but you can see all the different vegetables in here. These are our spicy ones. We put the Tabasco or the Cholula sauce in there, mushrooms, broccoli, the cheese, really good. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing as the muffins. I'm gonna let them cool so they don't fall apart, and then I'll carefully take these out and put them in the storage containers for our week. I do have some prepped I wanna share with you. Yeah. So 2 grams of carbs in these muffins. We have about 18 grams of protein, and then this is how it looks. We can either pair it with some avocado slices, some fresh tomatoes. You can eat this room temperature, you can eat it cold, you can warm it up and eat it hot, but keep it in a big container, grab them out as you're ready to go, run out the door for breakfast. You have a great ready to go meal right here. Okay, so in less than all this time we just spent together, so in about 40 minutes, I was able to prepare 4 meals that are all meal preppable, carb controlled, all within our time, so you're ready for your work week now. And I wanted to show you what those overnight oats are gonna look like when they're completely done. So these are some overnight oats that have been sitting overnight. So as when we first made them, they were kind of watery, but you can see now that they've been sitting, I have all the fruit on top. It really thickens and turns into a really nice thick dish. So you can eat it directly from the bowl, just like that, or we can heat it up if you want something a little bit warmer. And then the same thing here for our chia and flax Noatmeal. Remember that other one was really watery, and now after it sits, same thing, it thickens. This is a really high fiber, super low carb, high protein, cream of wheat-like texture, and it tastes really good. So no added sugar in this one either. All of the sweetness is going to be coming from your fruit. So we have our do with those muffins? Here they are. All right, so we have maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then maybe Friday again. All these things can sit for about 5 days or so if you're not going to eat them. Again, pop them into little containers or into Ziploc bags, and you can freeze them for your work week or for even weeks later. So that is what I had for you to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be hanging out. I'm happy to answer any questions or re-go over any of the ingredients or foods that I just shared with you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. That looks so amazing. I can't believe you made 4 different meals. I'm so surprised and so excited to try some of these recipes myself. So thanks so much, Jessica, for your time. I want to open this up to see if any of our attendees have any questions that they want to ask Jessica. I like that you had a helper.
Yeah, that's my oldest daughter. She was really excited that she saw me prepping and curious what I was doing, and I explained to her that I was going to be doing a little mini TV show today. So she's excited. But I'm a big fan of trying to get our families involved in it, especially our kids. The kids are more likely to taste things or try things if we get them involved in the kitchen. And so, that really allows her to have some ownership in kind of what she's creating and eating and more likely to eat it.
Sounds good. So Jessica, so some of these items, you can eat them cold and also warmed up, you mentioned, right?
Yeah. Melanie, how do you like your overnight oats? Do you like them cold or do you like me to warm them up?
Cold in the day, cold when the sun's out, and warm warm when it's cold.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, so it's a great one. You can use, sometimes we think about oatmeal as being a winter meal, but I love what you said, Melanie. That's a great idea. When it's cold outside, it's fun to have it warm, and when it's hot, you can eat oatmeal in the summer and just eat it cold. Overnight oats with chia.
Jessica, does the carbohydrate content change if it's hot or cold?
No, that's still going to be the same. So regardless of the temperature, it's going to be the same amount of carbohydrates. So 40 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fiber, so the net grams of 30 grams of carbs in this meal right here.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't see any other questions at this time right now. So I want to just say thank you so much, Jessica. We're going to email the recipes out to our attendees later on. And I just want to share with everyone that the second Thursdays of each month, we will be having some health and wellness programs, whether it's food related or exercise related. The next one, I will be teaching this. I'll be doing another cooking demonstration, but using the Instapot. So hopefully everyone else can enjoy and participate as well. It will be hands-on, cooking at the same time. But I just want to thank everyone for joining us. Thanks so much, Jessica and Melanie.
And I look forward to seeing yours too. It's so fun. I'm so glad that we can all share with everybody the nice things that we can cook to do to stay healthy at home and for our families. So thanks everyone for your time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.